Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is the date, September 23rd, 2023. I've got some interesting things to say about it. And before we get started, let me remind you that we're having our Bible study every Friday night, and we ask you to click subscribe, click the bell, and share this. Go to the Bible study Friday night, 6:30. You can watch on Prophecy Club, Facebook, YouTube, and we read the Bible. Also, we're asking everyone to actually join the Prophecy Club. $9.90 on an automatic monthly donation is what we're asking. And of course, you can give more if you'd like to. You can stop anytime you want to. And you click the QR code. Now, I was asked to show people what that meant. I had learned this too. And I'll tell you how I learned it. I was in a restaurant. They didn't have a menu. They had a barcode. I thought, okay, how am I supposed to order? Here's how you're supposed to order. Okay, so you take out your cell phone. This is mine. Then you push camera. This is mine. And then you put it up to the QR code, like you're taking a picture of it, but don't take a picture of it. Instead, when you put it up to the QR code, it'll have a little yellow box that pops up, and there's a little yellow sentence under that. Reach out and touch that sentence. Okay, got it? So you hold it up like you're taking a picture of that QR code. And then a box will appear, and then you touch that box. Boom. It takes you right to that website. And that's how you can join Prophecy Club. Or I've also been asked to tell you that you can go to prophecyclub.com. And there's a place there where you click and you can donate, and you can also join the Prophecy Club. Why? Because Jason Meeks, one of our prophets, was told that if Prophecy Club is going to survive in the hard times ahead, we need to ask everybody to join, actually on an automatic every month donation of $9.90 or more. And God bless you, a lot of people are signing up for more, and we appreciate that. We need it. So that in the hard times, Prophecy Club is still going to be there to be able to bring you the information that we need to bring you. Now, I'm going to cover briefly as a recap what I talked about yesterday, so I'm not setting any dates. God's not spoken to me. I'm just guessing here. So, to start with, Texas Power Grid entered emergency mode last night to avoid rolling blackouts. I didn't know that Texas had an emergency mode, and nobody told me that they've been in this emergency mode. But the article says, the state's power grid operator triggered its emergency operations on Wednesday evening, allowing it to call on all available power generation to stay ahead of demand, bringing it to a step closer to a worst-case scenario of ordering rotating power outages. Now, I think, about 3 winters ago, we had that here in Texas. My electricity went off 30 minutes, on 30 minutes, off 30 minutes, on 30 minutes. And there were a lot of people in my neighborhood that had a lot of frozen damage. Anyway, outages would last between 10 to 15 minutes for their customers. The duration of power outages and whether they would rotate would depend on whether they hear from ERCOT, which calculates how much demand must be reduced to keep the grid from failing. Now, I question whether the grid is really that close to failing, but then I'm also going to say you should have made preparation for it. We should not be reading this article. It should not be happening. Outages would likely be necessary for only a few hours, and demand typically falls and wind generation typically rises after a sunset. I don't know why would wind generation rise after sunset. Most cases I've been around, the wind goes down after sunset. Nevertheless, that's what the article says. The state has broken its power demand record 10 times so far this summer. I didn't know that either. Because of economic, now I believe this, population growth and punishing heat. You see, when the pandemic hit, a lot of folks in the blue areas didn't like how they were being treated, so most of them have moved to either Florida or Texas, apparently, because the freeways around here used to, occasionally have a stoppage, like on Friday at 5 o'clock. Very, very rarely. Rare was it that the flow even slowed down. Now it's almost like it's rare that the traffic flows normally around here. So yes, I would agree. There's been a whole lot more people moving to Texas, and specifically in the DFW area where I live. Okay, now, what does this mean? It means that I don't think it's a question of whether. I think it's a question of when will our grid go down. And for this, I recommend you go to griddown.com. And if you enter code the promo code prophecy, you get a 7% discount. And if you'll read into it, and I'm not going to cover all of it today, but here's a real good overview of why they are the best. Now, I told you I have a solar system, and I got my solar system from solarsurge.net, and I'm very, very, very pleased with it. I absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about getting a solar system, I'll send you to solarsurge.net. And if you're thinking about getting, what this is not solar, okay? This is basically just a giant battery. So the grid goes down, and it depends how many of these batteries you have, how long you're going, and also how much electricity you use, how long you're going to have electricity till it comes back on. Now, if the electricity were to cycle on off every 10 or 15 minutes, this thing would totally cover you. It would, yeah, not a problem. Now, if the electricity were to go off for, say, it depends on how many of these you have, say 6-8 hours or something, then there might reach a point to where the batteries have expended all of their stored power. But again, this is probably the cheapest way to have some kind of a battery backup. This is a whole battery backup, not just for your computer, but for your refrigerators and everything in your house. And this tells you all about it, so pause and read that. Solarsurge.net. Oh, and by the way, you go to griddown.com to get more of this information. Solarsurge.net, not com, net, solarsurge.net. All right, now let's go on. Truck drivers. Catastrophic forecast for food supply as Biden turns the industry on its head. President Joe Biden's administration finalized plans for a program it argues will further reduce air pollution from heavy-duty engines, but truckers argue that the proposed standards will crush the supply chain and put the American food supply at risk. Well, I have 14 prophecies. 14 prophecies say that America is going to go into a food shortage. This, I don't think, is the only thing that's going to cause it. I mean, we're talking about food, we're talking about fires, we're talking about the death of chickens and cows, and they're hitting us from every direction. The new emission standards put forth by the Environmental Protection Agency are significantly more stringent. That's all they have to do. They have to just raise the standards until no one can get on the road with those standards. That's all they have to do. Many small trucking companies will be pushed out of business, tightening trucking capacity nationwide and causing severe price inflation, worse than we have right now, which will be passed down to consumers. The EP estimates the technology required will cost between $25,000, $68,000, and $8,000 per vehicle. They say that they're supporting green energy above the economy, and they're causing climate change by scaling away. So all of this is a plot. All of this is evil in high places with high technology coming against the people so that they can force every knee to bow and every tongue to confess and every person, every forehead or right hand to take that mark of the beast. That's where this is ultimately going. So for that, I recommend you go to josephkitchen.com. You'll want to get the machine package, which is the mechanicals to make the wheat. Then you decide how much food you're going to get. They have videos up there explaining all about it. As a matter of fact, I just recently made another video that explained the health reasons. As a matter of fact. So I went out of town for a few days, and I got away from my bread. And I started noticing that my head started closing up in the middle of the night. I mean, I couldn't breathe. I'd wake up and, I had to put all kinds of nasal things up me to open me up just so I could breathe at night. I realized what it was. I'd got away from my whole wheat bread. So I pulled out a slice. I ate a whole slice of whole wheat bread, and sure enough, an hour or so later, head opened, dried up. There's all kinds of health benefits for eating whole wheat bread. Go check it out. josephkitchen.com. All right, now, our topic today, September 23 of 2023. Now, and what I'm going to ask you to do, because I can't put these videos within our video for lots of reasons. Copyright is part of them. But there's several videos up there on YouTube that talk about this date. Write that date down. It's worth the research. Type in September 23 of 2023. There are several, you may have to watch several of them, but essentially they go through and they show you where you can find this all over in all kinds of movies. Now, here's the one that caught my attention, the reason I decided to go ahead and put this in today. This particular one is talking about September of 2023 on a Saturday. Well, when I heard that, okay, well, that's got to be fairly rare. So I looked it up. There's an internet site that will tell you. So 2023, 2028, those are the only 2 years this decade that have a Saturday as a September 23rd. And it looked even further into also all the way up to 2050. So there's only a total of 5 days between now and 2050 where September 23rd fall on a Saturday. Now, why? If you will go, just go to YouTube and type in September 23 or September 23 of 2028, or excuse me, 2023, and watch some of the videos. They have lots and lots and lots of information that I see no reason me duplicating. But here's the point. What you want to really know is there something to this September 23, let's back up, to this date right here? Is there something to September 23, 2023? This one particular thing circled it on a Saturday, 2023, and it was part of it. Well, the truth is, I don't know. I do believe that it has been subtly marketed through movies, advertising. As you watch one of these videos, and there's several of them up there, you will say, okay, there's something to this. Now, I don't know what it is, but I do think as watchmen, we should be watching specifically September 23 of 2023. Others say we should also be watching September 14th. So I'm passing it along. Let's watch September 14th. Let's watch September 23. I do not know what it is, but they have gone to a lot of trouble for a lot of years. As you'll see when you just go to YouTube and type in September 23, 2023, watch some of the videos, and I promise your mouth will drop open. You'll say, I don't know what this is, but it is something. Something. They have planned for some future September 23, and the highest probability is September 23 of 2023. Now, what's going to happen? I don't know, but I know it is enough for us to look into. So there you go. I passed it along. September 23 of 2023. Now let's go back to our articles. So why is the IRS buying 40 caliber submachine guns? I have an idea. I think they have a looking glass, which allows them to see into the future. I also think they have access to a time machine. I mean, a literal time machine that can move a person back in time, forward in time, to any place on the globe, and perhaps even to any place in the galaxy. I don't know, but I'm pretty certain they at least have one or have access to one. So they know that the internal revolution is coming. And I believe, I don't know for certain, God has not told me, but my best guess is that probably one of these indictments is actually going to put handcuffs on Donald Trump, put him behind bars, and at that point, that will be started by the communists, then the Marines are going to stand up and say, we've had enough. And they're going to go in, just like prophecy, as I said in the last program, indicated, and they're going to do a lot of arrests. It may be that several million people are killed over this. As Shane Warren said, he saw it was like civil war. Several people have said that. Terry Bennett, civil war. Both of them use those terms. I think that the IRS, and several people mentioned in this article, know it, and they're preparing for it. They know that they've lost the military. So the people they are controlling, they're raising up, training, and arming them because what they want to do is to take out the Christian nation to put the Antichrist on the throne. When the corporate media asked the IRS why it needed automatic weapons, millions of rounds of ammunition, and heavily armed staffers trained in the use of deadly force, they said it was for administrative reasons. What? No. But we now know that the globalists are not just arming the IRS. Along with just about every other federal agency, they also are militarizing these agencies to the hilt with military grade, I'll say that again, with military grade weapons not available to American citizens. So when they say, well, you don't need an AR-15 to go hunt a deer, our response should be, I'm not asking for an AR-15 to hunt a deer. I'm asking to have equal weapons with an evil government that might want to come down and try to take my freedoms away. Why, for instance, would the IRS need armored vehicles, flashbang grenades, loaded with tear gas, and 40 caliber submachine guns? Okay, for your information, a 40 caliber submachine gun, that's really powerful. So let's go on to the next one. The IRS has been arming up for at least 10 years. At the end of 2017, the IRS had 4,487 firearms and 5 million rounds of ammunition in its weapons cache. And it says you can bet that they've got a lot more since that's stored up last 6 years later in 2023. The Schumer Manchin tax bill will give the IRS billions of dollars to go into what the Wall Street Journal called beast mode. What? Beast mode? Do you suppose that they read Revelation 13? And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on the right hand or in the forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here's wisdom. Let him that hath the understanding count the number of the beast. His number of a man is the number of 666. You suppose they've read that? Yep. So what's beast mode? It's when the Antichrist has revealed himself to the world and is asking everybody to take his mark. That's beast mode. That's saying that they are coming after us Christians, and we will deny Christ or we will lose our life. Now me, it would be my great honor to give my life for my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And I think the people listening right now would say the same thing. So the IRS is hiring 87,000 more agents, arming those agents who are willing to use deadly force if necessary. The IRS has nearly $700,000 in ammo. What are they doing? In addition, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has also purchased hundreds of 40 caliber submachine guns and raided the Fisher's family farm in Farmville, Virginia, and seized their livestock, their meat processing facility, as the state condemned, and seized the property. They are Amish. And they said, we're making and growing beef the way we've been making and growing beef for several hundred years in our family, and we're not changing it just because the FDA tells us to. So what happened? They shut them down. The Small Business Administration, which was originally started to help companies get started. Small Business Administration has also made bulk purchases of guns and ammo. Health and Human Services has done the same. Okay, so we need guns and ammo so that we can help businesses get started. Health and Human Services needs guns and ammo so we can see that people are healthy. No, they're arming the people on their payroll so that when they tell them, go kill XYZ, they'll do it. Is the federal government preparing for all-out war against Americans who push back against? The answer is yeah. Yeah, since you ask it, yes, they are. Why? Well, LeoHoman.com says NFL Stadiums unleashes Robo-Dog security robot armed with night vision and facial recognition software. Stadium owners say our fans just love it. Really? Really? Can they be that naive? Can they be that stupid? Okay, so why do you want any kind of a device roaming around people that have paid $200, $400, $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, I don't know, $3,000 for a ticket to come in to watch some ball game? Why do you want their faces recorded? Why do you want to have night vision? Obviously, it's for more. What is it for more? Well, because they can't force you to take the mark of the beast if they can't find you. Well, this is going to aid them finding you. Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta recently welcomed the introduction of the Benzie, the drone dog, a robot that has facial recognition capabilities and will patrol the stadium to keep an eye on fans. That's right. All of those fans that don't wear masks, all of those fans that aren't jabbed, or all those fans that don't have the mark of the beast. Benzie will monitor 11 acres around the stadium, continuously uploading real-time video of everything and everyone it sees. He has night vision capabilities and can read the license plates and sniff for explosives. But is he armed? I can tell you that other YouTube things I've seen, yes, you can put weapons on these devices. John Whitehead makes his case for America as a rising Fourth Reich. FBI Gestapo tactics bear hallmarks of the 1930s totalitarian regime. We want no Gestapo or secret police. FBI is tending in that direction, says the former President Harry Truman. With every passing day, the United States government borrows yet another leaf from Nazi Germany's playbook. Secret police. Do we have that today? I think there would be some people arrested on January 6th that would say yes. Matter of fact, I think there's a lot more people that would say yes. Secret courts? Yes. Or at least courts that do what they want to do. Secret government agencies, surveillance, censorship. We've been censored. We've been censored. And I'm afraid to say more. I'm afraid that they'll get censored more. Intimidation? Yep. Harassment? Yep. Torture? It's coming. Brutality, widespread corruption, entrapment, indoctrination, indefinite detention. In other words, they just put you away and throw away the key. These are not tactics used by a constitutional republic. Well, not normally. Not supposed to be. Where the rule of law and the rights of the citizens reign supreme. Well, the rule of law is thrown out, just like the 4 indictments against Trump. They're breaking the law, but they don't care. Just like the 2020 election. They don't care. They want it their way. Rather, they are the hallmarks of authoritarian regimes where secret police control the populace through intimidation, fear, and official lawlessness on the part of government agents. So, let's back up. Is this harmless? Nah, I don't think so. What about this? IRS buying 40 caliber submachine guns. And what about this? Do you see the point? Did you get the point? So is something coming September 23rd? I don't know. I'm watching. I've heard dates set before and nothing happened. But I've never seen a date. If you'll go into YouTube, just type in that date. I think you won't watch but just 1 or 2 of the videos that are up there, and you'll say, there's something to this. You'll see. You'll see. I'm going to show you something you've never seen or tasted before. I'm doing this impromptu. I just went out to my own bread machine, and I pulled this out. This is a loaf I made Saturday. This is my famous raisin, cinnamon, vanilla. This new loaf, the whole loaf would weigh about 3 pounds. Of course, I've already eaten about half of it. But I want to show you why you have never tasted this. Each one of these slices, you can see how thick it is. One of these slices is a meal. You eat one of these in the morning, one in the afternoon, and not only are you satisfied, you're really satisfied. You're really happy. Cinnamon, raisin, vanilla, and yes, at josephkitchen.com, you can get the recipe. This is an upgraded recipe that I plan to be putting out here as soon as I get a chance. But if you look close, those are raisins, cinnamon, and vanilla all whipped together. You put that into a toaster, put a little bit of butter on that, and, well, it doesn't last long at church. As a matter of fact, they pass by all of the nice donuts and all of the other sweet garbage to get something that's really good for them. Now, what I would suggest you do is start making your own bread, whether you've already got Joseph's Kitchen or whether you haven't, get it. Now, here's what you do. You go to josephskitchen.com. Two things. One, you order a machine package. That's the mechanicals to make it. In other words, the grinder that takes the wheat berries, turns it into flour, which you put into the bread machine with 6 other ingredients. Push a button. 2 hours and 20 minutes later, you have a nice hot loaf of whole wheat bread. Won't look like this because this one has raisin, cinnamon, and honey in it. Anyway, extra honey. And the next thing you want to do is decide how much food you want to have. You want to have 6 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, 2 people 1 year, or just enough for one person. All of that is at the price of around $1,000 per person. Get you some homemade whole wheat bread. Why have you never tasted this? Because the grocery stores cannot and will never be able to offer this, because in about 7 to 10 days after you break the wheat berry, it starts going bad. Now, I know that I'm going to have to eat this in the next 7 to 10 days, but I also know it's probably not going to last more than 3 or 4 days. As a matter of fact, it's one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life, and I can't guarantee this. I can't say it legally, but let's put it this way. I've been taken off of my I've been taken off of my high blood pressure pills, and the doctor said that I have low cholesterol now, cut my cholesterol pill in half. And the only thing I can say is over the last year, I started eating whole wheat bread. So there it is, whole wheat bread. josephskitchen.com. Terry Saka, Cornerstone, metals.com. So why should people go online or call you today?
Seymour Hersh, an amazing investigative journalist, laid out the case that the United States is the one that blew up the Nord Stream pipelines, hurting our very own allies. That is a nation that is desperate because their currency is on the verge of losing reserve status. That's not good for a United States dollar, and why we better be protected.
Terry Saka, Cornerstone, metals.com. Give him a call or go online today. Cornerstone, metals.com. Rule number 1, make sure your name is written in the book of life. Rule number 1, ask Jesus to forgive your sins. That's the most important thing. Number 2, most important thing, whatever happens, do not take that mark of the beast. You take that mark of the beast, you can cut your hand off, you can chisel off your forehead, but you're going to spend all eternity with the beast, the false prophet, and 1,000 years later, Lucifer joins them, and all the other people that take the mark of the beast, and there is no hope of escape. You are tormented. That means you're in total pain. It means that your body, although it's not a body of flesh, whatever it is, your body is totally being burned for all eternity, and there is no stopping it. There is no escaping it. Whatever happens, you do not want to take that mark of the beast, which, by the way, I would recommend you go to prophecyclub.com and get my book, Miss the Mark. As a matter of fact, it's sold so much, we are, I think, now going into the 5th printing. This book is simple. It only takes about 3 hours to read. It's designed to give to someone that's not a Christian, doesn't know Jesus, that hadn't read the Bible. Give it to anybody out there. If they'll read the first few pages, they'll probably finish the book. And if they finish the book, I don't care what God they used to have, they're not going to take that mark of the beast. And chances are very strong they'll receive Jesus. So for that, I would send you to prophecyclub.com. 1 for $20, and you'll have to check and get whatever the other prices are. I will say this, they just went up substantially on our printing price. And so guess what? No surprise, we had to go up on our prices too. But nevertheless, not about money. It's about winning souls.